Alright, YouTube, this is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Wednesday morning, late morning. I'm under doctor's orders to rest and not do anything strenuous because of my heart and my blood pressure. And so I am relaxing. And the best way I know how to relax is painting. So I'm just going to stream me painting a little bit and talking a little bit to the camera. I'm going to fade out the self camera there, and it's just going to be me painting, and hopefully everything will look good. So we're going to be painting today this barbarian that I printed, or it's a giant. Obviously, here's a regular 28 millimeter miniature versus our giant. So you can see it's pretty big. I probably should have cleaned my desk off a little bit. It's a shitstorm. But you can see I've already got some flesh tone on there. I've got his hair done. The miniature did not print perfectly. I did print this miniature on my Uniformation GK2. It is my fault. I did not have my settings dialed in, and I think I set this to print a certain way. Normally I print my miniatures at like a 45-degree angle or 40-ish degree angle, and you can see there's some rough divots back here where the sprue support was, right in this area, and there's some on his back, on his lats and stuff. Am I worried about it? Yeah, I mean, sure. For content creation, yeah, I should have printed it a little bit better. I spray painted it black with my airbrush. I have a Vex airbrush, which is by Reaper Miniatures. I quite like it. I'm very happy with it. And I enjoy the model. I mean, it came out wonderfully. Oh, you know what? The best way to see those sprue bits or divots is on his feet. You can probably see them there. Hoping the yeah, there you go. There's a, you can see, and I just used the, I believe I used the pre-supports that came with this miniature. I've been getting away from pre-supported miniatures, or no, I'm sorry. I used the unsupported miniature, and I used Lychee's or Chitu boxes light supports, and as you can see, they came out a bit heavy in places. But overall, the quality of the miniature came out really nice. I have changed my miniature printing process. I was using an undiluted mean green as a first wash and a second wash, and then putting them in a mean green sonic wash. And the miniatures were coming out very shiny after cured. I was even washing them afterwards with a toothbrush and some Dawn dish detergent. And then curing them, and they were still coming out super shiny, and it was just the mean green was too potent, and it was sticking to the resin, and it made them super shiny. So that is on this miniature. I have since rectified that, and I've gone to a 1-to-4 solution of mean green and water with a pre-wash and a secondary wash, and then I put them in 91% IPA in a Ziploc bag, and then put them in my sonic cleaner that's filled with water, and I let them run for 5 minutes. And I've done a number of miniatures now that have come out amazing. No frosting, no glossiness. They've come out really well, so I'm very happy with the process. The IPA stinks, but I only use it in a Ziploc bag. I do have full safety gear, so I put that on. Eye protection and well, gloves. You can see the screen. I have one glove. Oops, I have one glove on for the painting because I'm holding the miniature. I don't want my finger oils, my hand oils, to get on it. And then I have a respirator that I use that is filters out the smell and does a great job. So without further ado, that's kind of explaining the process. Like I said, you can see we've done a little zenithal. This side's darker than this side. So we've given it just a wash, and we're just basically using speed paints. We'll probably use a little bit regular Duncan Rhodes 2 thin coats. I really like this paint. We might do some highlights or whatever with that. I don't know. Again, I'm not supposed to stress myself out or anything, so I'm just going to do the best I can do with what I've got. And when I start feeling fatigued or tired or shortness of breath, I'll take a break and I'll stop the video and I'll just upload what I have. So thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Leave some comments down below. So far, this is just basically a storm giant or any kind of giant you want to use. I just really dug the miniature. As you can see, I didn't get rid of some of the mold lines. I didn't see them until after I'd base coated it. And this is resin. I hate wearing the respirator. For the IPA, it does give me a headache, a pretty vicious headache. So the resin doesn't seem to bother me, but I'm not sure about long-term effects, so I wear a respirator. I have the GK2 has a carbon filter. I really think that only filters out the smell, doesn't filter out any harmful particles. So I am in the process of getting a air purifier. Some of the better ones will filter out harmful toxins in the air, and they're not terribly expensive. Like $100 will get you a decent one. 150, 200 will get you a really good one. So either way, that's coming. But we're gonna slap some paint down here. This is just for an adventure for my in-house game, and I just wanted to get some paint down. And he stands up on his own, as you can see. So I don't have to really put him on a base. I'm not going to. I'm pretty excited about the miniature itself. I like it. This may be one that I reprint at a later date with the new process and make sure that I don't get all those divots on it and everything, and give it a much better paint job. But I like the miniature. I like the sculpt. I don't remember who it's from. I think this might be DM Dash. I'm not sure. Off of My Mini Factory. I am a member of My Mini Factory, and I've joined I think 2 tribes. DM Stash, and I can't think of the third one right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to turn the self cam off, and we'll get some just painting done. You guys will still be able to hear my audio. So there we go. We've switched to the self cam or the mini cam. The odd part is I can't wear my glasses to paint miniatures, so I have to put on some cheaters. But the monitor is about 2 feet away, and when I look up at it through the cheaters, of course, you know how that goes. So still, we're gonna. I've got a little bit of pallid bone here. I'm gonna put some pallid bone on the skulls. This is a clean brush. It's just a little bit of pallid bone. I don't want to overload my brush. I need my weight. I use my brush cleaner as a weight for my palette. I should go buy a new one. But I'm not supposed to drive today or go anywhere and do anything strenuous. So we're just going to slap some paint down on this miniature. I might have wanted to go for a bigger brush. Yeah, make sure I'm in the frame. I don't want to get any paint on the fur. Obviously, the black sections I don't really need to worry about. I might need a little more paint on my palette. But as you can see, these speed paints are phenomenal. I'm very much a fan. And you can kind of, they call it slap chop for a reason. You can just slap this stuff on. I'm one of those careful guys. But I like the pallid bone. I think it looks really good for all your bone material. And I just want to get this nice and colored. The big thing with these, this is the Speed Paints 1.0, and I will say they do reactivate, they do mix up, but that can be a good thing for if you weren't trying to do some blending. As you can see, that looks pretty good versus the unpainted bone here versus that. And when that dries, it's going to actually look a lot better. So we're going to get some more on here. You want to, the reason, and just like Citadel contrast paints, you do want to load your brush up pretty heavy because if this stuff dries relatively quick, and if you go over a section that's halfway dry, you will get some like streaking and color distortion. It's not horrible, but if it's a super smooth part, you can see it. And I'm definitely running out of paint. I did not put enough paint on my palette. But do we have enough to get the job done? No, we don't, because we got to do all down here. I don't want to waste any paint. You can see there's a couple of supports I forgot to get off. I didn't realize it until just now. But again, this is tabletop quality. I'm not looking for Golden Demon or anything. I don't paint that well anyway. I paint more for therapeutic enjoyment and fun. I'll tell you, guys, let me know how the picture quality is. Are you able to see my detail? I was going to buy a new camera, and then my old manager at Embridge hooked me up and gave me this camera. It's a I don't even know who makes it, to be honest. It was from their video presentation equipment, and they were throwing it away. They weren't moving it to their new location, so he hooked me up. I'm going to say that's good enough for right now because again, we're just doing that sun that is pounding me in the eyes is killing me. Yeah, we're just doing a base coat right now. So we'll a little bit of water here, clean our palette out. I need to go. I should go to Hobby Lobby. I'm going to do that Saturday. They're not open on Sunday. We have a big Hobby Lobby here in Duluth. So I'm going to go to that Hobby Lobby. I have to block the sun out, though. It is too bright. I have some sort of cork or something that I can use. Uh, that's okay. That's helping a little bit. It's just not quite high enough. That sun is brutal shooting into my basement. But I think I got a fix here. I'm gonna move my Bluetooth speaker over here. Block that out. I think that's gonna help. Yeah, that's much better. Ooh, that light is giving me a headache. Whew, I'm already out of breath. Uh, all I'm gonna say, guys, is take care of yourselves. I had a pretty big scare this week, and my blood pressure, I think it was like 210 over 105 or something like that. Is really bad. And of course, for me, high blood pressure takes effect as a headache, and just feeling overall crappy. Um, and so, with that scare, my wife um, recommended I go see the doctor, of course, smartly so. That's why we get married, guys, because we're dummies and we think we can do everything and we're bulletproof, and we're not. And I have a 7-year-old son, so I need to take care of myself. I have to be around for him. I'm 57, almost 58, and I want to be around for a long time to support him. Let me know how the audio level is. Hopefully, I'm coming in okay and you guys can hear me. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna put a second coat on this piece. Is Van Brace, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I want it a little darker. Then that is giving me a nice effect. Should have used a bigger brush. Had an opportunity to grab it, and I didn't. And that's all. But overall, I'm a fan of these speed paints. If I'm feeling better this weekend, I have to go back to the doctor. What's that? Spread the paint everywhere. I have to go back to the doctor. I have to send her. So I have to take 3 uh, blood pressure. I have to take my blood pressure 3 times a day. I have a cup here at home. It's a good one. Um, and I have to take it 3 times a day. Keep a journal and send it to her, to my doctor when I'm done. So I'll be taking a break here around 1 o'clock when my alarm goes off, and I will get that done. I'm also doing. Talked with the doctor about restarting my intermittent fasting. And again, I smudged the paint there, but that's going to be covered up by the paint that I use for the cloth, so, whatever this loin cloth is. So I'm okay with that. It's not the end. What's his name used to say? Happy little mistakes, happy little opportunities. Yeah, that. See, I really like that bone. And this is, like I said, this first generation speed paints. So people complain about that they smear and they do weird things. But if you work within the tolerances of the paint, you shouldn't have a problem. And as you can see, I'm not really having a problem. I really like it. So that gets. Oh, I see a little piece I missed. Uh, well, yeah, that's part of it. Get that all painted. I have a heavy leather that I'll use for the strap. That'll be going on next. I don't know what I'm going to do for the fur, though. I'm a little confused on that. I'm not sure how well you guys can hear me. I'm not peeking on the monitor, so that's good. I don't want to blow out the speakers or your speakers, but hopefully this is relaxing and you get a little something from it or you enjoy it. I like watching painting videos. I'm a big fan of Ninjon and Miniac, Scott the Miniac painter. I'm also a huge fan of Vince Venturella, and he's a phenomenal painter. Um, Making sure that so you can see how that came out. It came out pretty good. I do like these speed paints. You have to clean the brush out pretty good though. I try not to get paint up into the ferrule. The ferrule is the metal part of the brush right there, where my fingernail is, and that is where paint gets up in, and then as it dries, it expands, pushes your bristles apart, and causes your brush to eventually fall apart, not hold the point. This brush I'm using is a Master's Touch round number 2. This is from Hobby Lobby. I have had this paintbrush since I've lived in Minnesota, so about 6 years now. This is a 6-year-old brush. Now, granted, I don't paint a whole lot, and when I do paint, though, I go in spurts. So, that being said, I definitely enjoy it. Like I said, painting is therapeutic for me. Everybody has their own reasons to paint. Some people just love the process of painting, and I do too. But I also uh, enjoy just Crusader leather. There's the white Army Painter white. I will say, or not Army Painter. That's Duncan Rhodes Two Thin Coats White Star. Yeah, and then we've got hardened leather. Here we go. Now I'm going to thin this a little bit, just because it is pretty thick. Hopefully, I'm a big fan of not wasting paint. I also have the Spirit Medium, Speed Paint Medium, also from Army Painter. I put 3 drops of paint, so I'm going to put 1 drop of Spirit Medium, boop, in there. Get that all mixed up. Make sure my brush is nice and clean. Get all the excess water off of it, and just give this a little mix. I try not to get any paint up in the ferrule when I mix the paint. Some people have a separate paintbrush that they use. Homie ain't got time for that. And I will say these Master Touch paintbrushes are relatively cheap. And they're synthetic brushes, but they work pretty well. I don't have a problem with them. I also use my brush soap after every painting session, but I don't do that on stream. But when I'm done painting, I go through all my brushes and make sure. And right there, I'm just testing it on the back. trying to make sure I got most of the water off. As you can see, I did not. Uh, but again, um, painting is a technique. I hear all the time from people, oh, I can't paint. I'm no good at painting. Uh, I suck. But here's the thing, man. Painting is like learning a foreign language. Everybody can do it. Unless you have some sort of learning problem, you can do it. It's a muscle. It gets better the more you use it. I've been painting miniatures for over 20 years. Am I as good as I should be? No, nowhere close. Am I having fun? Yes. Do I enjoy the process? Yes. And that's what I do it for. I do it for the process. I don't do it, like I said, I'm not trying to win the Golden Demon Award or anything like that. I'm doing this. I like having painted miniatures on the table. That's where my enjoyment comes from. And I love it. My current gaming group is a local group here in Minnesota in Duluth, and they are all relatively new to role playing games. Some of them have never played a role playing game. I've got five guys plus me as the GM, so there's six of us total in the group. We've been together for just over a year now, which is super cool. And I have exposed them to a lot of different games, which I'm proud of. I'm gonna make sure I don't pull this out of the frame. I have a tendency to do that because believe it or not, painting like this is very hard. Yeah, that came out really good. Came out pretty snazzy. I'm not gonna worry about all of that. It is. Oh, I'll paint that. Like I was saying, I do it for the fun of it. I never hated it like the miniature hobbyist. He's a British guy who runs a YouTube channel. He's pretty fun to watch. He's always fond of saying I'm waffling now. It's a British term. And I'm doing all the stuff you shouldn't do. I don't have 3 points of contact on the model. I'm trying to keep the model in the frame. Uh, I think I'm going to make that metal. Well, it should be leather. The nice part here is when you're painting stuff like this, you can do whatever you want. There's no hard and fast rule. Now, what we try to do is we go for realism, right? If it looks like leather, it should look like painted leather, right? Um, you want purple armbands? Do purple armbands. There is no one, no paint police is going to come out and tell you no. I mean, and if you're not entering a paint contest, what does it matter? Now, with the little studs on these wristbands, the good part is I can just paint over that with my silver paint, and you'll never see it. It's not going to make a difference. So I wish I had a good fur. I don't. But again, I'm just getting primary colors down. I don't care um, how perfect this is. I let my players move the miniatures on the table. Uh, and we use a 43-inch flat screen TV, and then we put miniatures on top of it. So I export a map over the screen, over onto the TV, and then we do we play that way. So again, and I might hit that up with a touch of silver. This is all supposed to be kind of like fur, leather, hide. I don't want it to all look like one color, so I'm probably going to paint. I might paint the fur white. I think that would be pretty cool because I am kind to say that this is like a frost giant, which is why he has kind of the blue tinted hair. Hopefully that's still in frame. I have to get a better lighting source. Unfortunately, I have a horrible horrible light for my miniatures. My wife is coming home early today to kind of keep an eye on me because they're like, if my blood pressure goes too out of whack, they're worried about a heart attack or respiratory or something. I don't know. They said a bunch of big words that I didn't know. All I know is I'm supposed to keep the stress down and not get overly excited. So I thought the best way to keep that down to a minimum was paint some miniatures. Now, whether or not that's going to work, I don't know. We'll see. The monitor I have on underneath my shirt is not going off, so that's a good sign. They're keeping an eye on everything. Pretty cool because now they're Wi-Fi based. Um, I had one a couple of years ago when I had my 3 heart attacks in a row, and it was not. I had to pay for a phone line to be installed in my house that I was living in, and let me tell you, that was 100 and something bucks that I really didn't want to spend. But what's your health worth? And it all turned out okay in the end. And again, I'm not going for competition standard here. I'm just painting to kind of relax and have fun, and to get better at this painting on camera. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know how Vince and Maniac and Ninjon and all the other guys make this look so easy, because it is not. How do you maintain? See, I know. Yeah, I'm in the screen. Well, I guess you can't show it. It's never going to be perfect. But I am going to say I'm liking how this is coming out. And I'm going to paint over those spikes. I'm just going to give them a touch of silver. So I don't care if there's a lot of paint on them, because the silver is not a. I just realized this is the same. I used the same paint for the leather and the hard leather and the bone. I thought I had grabbed the bone, pallid bone. Oh, I did. Oh well. It really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I'm going to go over it with a dry brush of a real light gray over the bone stuff, and that's going to really make it stand out. That is definitely helping with that. The boots, I'm probably going to do black, and then just give them a dry brush of like a dark gray. I need to touch up his skin. I don't have. I need to go buy some more, not contrast paints, speed paints. I need some more different leathers. They make a bunch of different colors, and I need them. I think this is hardened leather. They make a wood, so I need the wood. Sorry. I also have to drink plenty of water and fluids, so trying to keep up on that as well. Wood, green, sand, dark wood. Here we go. All right, let's clean this out. Kind of clean the brush. I, again, wasted too much paint thinking that was going to go further and need more than I really needed. The nice part is the paint's relatively cheap, and a bottle will last you quite a while. So I'm going to do that. And that was hardened leather. Now I want dark wood, again, speed paints. There we go. The paint, didn't even shake the camera. But you do have to shake this stuff up pretty good. It does settle and separate. I have a little vortex shaker, but I'm not going to do it with a camera on. Well, let's just see what happens. Oh, not bad. Not bad. Didn't shake the camera too much. You guys tell me if it was horrible or not. I'm going to do 2 drops. And I don't think I'm going to do any. We're going to do the shaft of the axe now. This is the hardened wood or dark wood. So we're going to give it Oh yeah, that looks good. We want to make sure we don't accidentally paint that metal band, whatever it may be. Oh, you can see some of the divots from the supports on the bottom of the axe handle. It is what it is. It was a lesson learned. I was trying, the whole point of using the mean green was to avoid the harsh chemicals. My son, for those that don't know, is 7 years old, but he's autistic. And um, he only, excuse me, he only drinks water. He will drink milk every now and again, but he is a water kid through and through, which is fine. That's really good. Hydration is very important. But my concern was is that the alcohol looks a lot like water. Obviously, it looks exactly like water. And, now the smell is horrendous. It affects some people, doesn't affect other people. I do not like the smell at all. So my concern was is I didn't want him to see that in Daddy's office and then think, oh, it's water and drink it. Not that he's ever picked up a stray container and drank from it to start with. He's never done that. So I felt pretty confident that he was not going to do that. But I just didn't feel confident taking the chance, the risk. So I looked at alternatives when I bought my 3D printer, and I saw Uncle Jesse, a great YouTube channel if you're looking to get into miniature painting, and he talked about uh, Mean Green. I mean, he did a shootout with Mean Green, Simple Green, Mr. Clean, and IPA or isopropyl alcohol. And what he discovered is they all pretty much work the same, and he was confident with any of them. So I thought if it's good enough for Uncle Jesse, who runs a 3D print farm and a YouTube channel, and he actually liked the Mean Green because it was cheaper than everything else. I thought, man, if he's signing off on it, it's got to be pretty good. So I bought 3 jugs of it. It was only like $5 a jug. So it wasn't terribly expensive, and I've been using that ever since. And like I said, I've enjoyed it, but it leaves this very tacky residue. Now, in all fairness and full disclosure to Uncle Jesse, he was he was he was doing a final rinse in the alcohol, um, in the IPA, and it worked really well. He didn't have um, the weird shininess or anything like that. He did noted that it was a little shiny, but it wasn't bad. So I was not using the alcohol at the end of my wash, my curing, or the end of my wash before curing. I was just going on straight with Mean Green, and come to find out that was not good. So we have got some good coats on here. Um, the axe handle looks very wood. I'm going to use brass, I think, for that ring. There was a minor ring up here, but it's pretty much covered up. And then the axe, this will all be steel. Um, and I might paint that now because my water's pretty dirty, so I might as well contaminate. You never want to use metallic paints with regular paints. Mix your water. It's really bad. You'll get tiny metal flakes in your regular paint. So if you're thinning your paint with water and then you go back and you use the metallic paint, that you were using for your wash, it can have a bad effect. It's not horrible. It's not the end of the world, but it's something you should be cognizant of. And if you don't want those metal flakes, you want to make sure you get rid of them. My paints are been sitting for a while. So I had to mix that up. It just drives me nuts when I see the paint's not mixed. So I'm looking for a good bronze. I need a bronze. Dragon gold. Spartan bronze. I think that may be a good color. A little pop of color on there. We'll run it through the little vortex spinner here for a minute. Metallic paints are a little bit thicker because they have flakes of metallic in them. So they tend to need more mixing. So I'm gonna. I only need a tiny bit of this, and I know this needs to be mixed more because I can barely hear the ball moving in there. The nice thing about the two thin coats from Duncan Rhodes is they all came with mixing balls inside the pot. So I will say the dropper bottles kind of suck because of the way the metal ball in there is about half the size of where my fingertip is. So it plugs the opening, and you have to squeeze harder. And then what happens is you get back pressure, and you wind up blowing the tip off, and then you've got paint everywhere. So obviously we don't want that. I'm going to clean my palette. I want to thank you guys for watching along and listening to me babble about my health concerns. It's nothing. I don't think it's the end of the way. They're taking it very seriously. They're taking it more seriously than I am, the doctor. But they had a cardiologist look over it, and they thought there was a concern. So my wife is not subscribed to this channel, so I didn't mention anything to her because I don't want her to wig out. Man, that does not. Spartan bronze. It's a reddish bronze. So we'll see how this comes out. I'm not jonesing on that color. I'll tell you, it looks more red than it does bronze. But you know what? We'll give it a whirl. I don't know if I'm supposed to use it with something. And this is, again, Spartan bronze by Two Thin Coats. Yeah, I'm off camera, of course. Oh, okay, I can kind of see the bronze. Now the hard part is going to be to get in there. But look at that, we got it. Nice. I gotta say, I like the color. Now, am I good enough to get it in there over that brown, that hardened leather? I got the perfect brush, so let's see if we can do it. By golly, I think we can. I think that works. I mean, it'll give it just enough oomph. A little more paint on the brush there. Not being a speed paint, it's a little thicker. Now, that'll work. Clean that off. I'm about to call it quits now. We've been recording for 40 minutes. I don't want these videos to be too long, and I haven't mastered iMovie yet. My plan is to use iMovie to condense these down. I'm still learning about iMovie. Since I'm on a Mac, it comes free, and it's actually a decent photo editor or video editor. So why not use it to edit my video? So this is brush soap. You just get your brush wet and you move it around in there. If you haven't used it, I highly recommend it. Keeps your brush conditioned. Even synthetic brushes need to be conditioned. And I try to work it up into the ferrule so that it cleans everything. You can see how it foams up with just a little bit of water. I mean, there's literally a drop of water. And then you just swirl it around, get it nice and lathered in there. I let it sit for a second just to break up any of that gunk that might be in there. But again, I keep my brushes pretty clean. But I am going to end the video here. I'm actually, I hate to say this, but I'm getting fatigued. I'm feeling tired. So I'm going to end the video there. We got some good base coats down on stuff. I'll do some highlights. We'll come back. I need this ready by Saturday. So I'm going to try to come back later on this afternoon and do some more painting. But I'm actually tired and I need to change my water. And I need to go do my blood pressure and eat lunch because it's almost 1 o'clock. So thank you so much. Actually, let me sign off by turning on the main camera. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you got a little something from this, or it was entertaining at least. Cool model, cool paints. I used some Reaper paints. We'll do a little bit more later on in the day. I'll try to upload another video. This was more of a test to see how the setup was going to work, and it looks like it's working. So in all, peace and hair grease, and remember, Mr. Mean says, be nice. Everyone, please take care of yourself. We gotta live a long life here, man. So be good, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for hanging out.